Well, we've been lucky. It's been great, really. It's obviously been made by having such a nice horse as Al Kazim, who's now won his last 5 group races in a row, including the last 3 of them being Group 1 races. So he's performed against the best. Beating Camelot in the Tattersall's Gold Cup was special.
Palace negotiate now. Camelot and Al Kazim on the outside make headway, beginning now to race with a furlong and a half to go, and Camelot comes through in the centre to pick it up. Al Kazim producing a run now towards the outside for James Doyle, and ranges up alongside. They're racing down now to the final 150 yards. Camelot pressed on the near side by Al Kazim. They're racing inside the final 150 yards, and Al Kazim and James Doyle are going to turn over Camelot in the Tattersall's Gold Cup. Al Kazim and James Doyle winner for Roger Charlton, Camelot second.
Winning at Royal Ascot and then following up 17 days later in the Eclipse really made him to be now rated as to being one of the best middle distance colts in Europe.
For a scene between horses, then declaration of war out wide. Mukadram inside the final quarter mile still has the lead in the Coral Eclipse, but here comes Al Kazim, Mars and declaration of war. The fugue has not fired today. Down towards the final furlong, Mukadram is digging gamely to the inside rail. Al Kazim on all-out drive. They've got 150 yards to go. Al Kazim has got the lead for James Doyle. Back in second is Mukadram. Declaration of war begins to fly. They've got now 50 yards to go, and Al Kazim wins the Coral Eclipse.
And you know, any yard is lucky to have a horse that's as nice as that and as good as that. He's been hugely admired by not only people in the racecourse, but also the leading studs have visited him. And I think the plan is probably at the end of this year that he's likely to go to stud in England. And you know, he's good conformation, good looking, tough, durable, straightforward, all the things that you could want with a racehorse. And I hope that he, you know, will make a very good stallion. We're not far away now from the big York meeting, and the plan is to run the Juddmonte International, which we know Frankel won so impressively last year. Preparation has gone well. He's had a small break since the Eclipse. We on purpose avoided the King George, which I was pleased to do. He looks great, and things, you know, we're happy with him. Then I think, depending on what happens there are options, and one of them could be to go to the Irish Champion Stakes, which is about 17 days later. And then, you know, we jump each hurdle as it comes, and the 2 remaining options is an either-or situation of the Arc de Triomphe or the Champion Stakes, which is 13 days later, so unlikely to do both. At the moment, you know, I'm in discussions with Mr. Deere as to really what he would like to do and where we go, and I think it'll depend on how he runs and, you know, all the options. Thistlebird's always been a favourite, really. She's, as a 4-year-old, she won 3 listed races last year, and it's unusual to keep a filly like that in training as a 5-year-old, but, you know, luckily she's gone on again this year. She won her group race at Epsom at the Derby meeting, and more recently ran an incredible race to be second in the Nassau Stakes.
With Just Pretending. Sky Lantern all of a sudden leads it out. Wincillion right down the outside. Thistlebird gathering momentum, and Sky Lantern's imprisoned in a pocket. It's Sarja in the blue. Wincilly, Thistlebird, Sky Lantern carrying to thread the needle, and Richard Hughes' luck has finally run out at Goodwood this week. It's Thistlebird in the yellow cap. Wincilly on the far side, driven out. Wincilly, Thistlebird at the line. Wincilly for a shock.
With a lot of very good fillies behind her, she actually started at 33 to 1 that day. Several people in the yard had backed her at 75 to 1 on Betfair the couple of days before, and all bar a neck, she was denied a great run, great victory. But it was a great effort, and you know, it's very rewarding when those homebred horses that have been very consistent and just keep on pulling out a bit more What there is in the future, I don't know, but she could go back to Goodwood for the Celebration Mile. She was second in last year, and then she would retire at the end of the year to Waddesdon Stud to join a few other choicely bred mares. The 2-year-olds we've taken our time with a bit, but the fillies that we've run have all run very well. 2 of them won first time out, another one was just beaten at Goodwood the other day, belonging to Elite Racing. And there are 1 or 2 nice fillies, you know, with a future, I hope. And indeed, there's some big colts that are still rather immature, but will be seen between now and the end of the year, I hope, that will give us something to be excited about next year. I think we've gone through 730 of first prize money now, and yeah, well, the Juddmonte International would push us through that barrier, which would be very nice, but I don't believe in counting chickens before they hatch out. But no, the season's been good, and as I say, we're lucky to have such a special horse, and he's been relatively easy to train, so you know, we've got good people here. Steve Raymond has been here longer than I have, and he rides him every day, and he's done a terrific amount with the horse. He not only rides him, but he feeds him as well and looks after the other horses as head lad. So, you know, it's been good. It's been a happy time.